Good day. Today's lecture is devoted to seminars as one of the principal forms of university teaching. This topic is especially important because the seminar occupies a distinctive place between lecture-based instruction and fully independent research. On the one hand, it relies on prior theoretical preparation. On the other hand, it requires students to analyze, discuss, defend positions, and participate in collective intellectual work. Therefore, the seminar should be regarded not merely as a supplementary class, but as a pedagogical form through which scientific thinking, professional communication, and academic independence are actively developed. At the outset, the presentation defines the aim of the lecture with considerable clarity. It seeks to provide students with the opportunity to master the skills and abilities of applying theoretical knowledge through guided discussion, independent research, and collaborative problem solving. In addition, the lecture introduces seminar forms, their pedagogical purpose, their main types, the principles of their organization, the role of the teacher, and practical techniques that foster scientific thinking and professional communication. Accordingly, the seminar is presented not as a single classroom procedure, but as a structured educational system with clear methodological foundations. This slide offers both a definition and a brief historical perspective. A seminar is described as a primary type of training session in which students present messages, reports, and abstracts prepared through educational research, either under teacher guidance or with greater independence. The reference to its historical roots in ancient Greek and Roman debate traditions and later development in Western European and Russian universities is especially significant. It shows that the seminar is not a recent invention, but a long-standing academic form associated with discussion, inquiry, and the disciplined exchange of ideas. Therefore, its place in higher education is both historically grounded and pedagogically justified. The next slide clarifies the educational purpose of seminars in higher education. 3 major directions are emphasized: deep study of course topics and methodology, research skills through independent preparation and reporting, and collaborative thinking through discussion, argumentation, and joint formation of conclusions. Taken together, these aims show that the seminar does not simply repeat lecture material. Rather, it deepens, systematizes, and activates knowledge in such a way that students move from reception toward disciplined intellectual participation. This slide, referring to A.M. Matyushkin, identifies the principal pedagogical problems solved through seminar work. These include the development of creative professional thinking, the strengthening of cognitive motivation, and the practical application of knowledge within the discipline. In addition, the slide highlights several especially important abilities: mastering disciplinary language, using concepts and definitions accurately, setting and solving intellectual tasks, and learning to argue, refute, and defend viewpoints. Thus, the seminar addresses not only subject knowledge, but also the intellectual culture of academic work itself. The presentation next turns to the teacher's role. The teacher must create a creative and intellectually open atmosphere, organize evaluative presentations and discussions, focus student attention in accordance with the topic, assign roles that correspond to student characteristics, and support less confident participants through carefully scaffolded questioning. The slide summarizes these actions under 3 broad functions: prepare, facilitate, and assess. Consequently, the teacher in a seminar is not merely a speaker or controller. Rather, the teacher is an organizer of discussion, a regulator of participation, and an expert who gives pedagogically meaningful feedback. This slide presents 3 common types of seminar classes: the proseminar, the special seminar, and the seminar research. The proseminar is introductory in character and is especially useful in the early years, where students are being trained in independent work, the use of literature, and the preparation of abstracts. The special seminar focuses on a specific scientific problem and may even develop into a kind of scientific school under a strong academic leader. The seminar research is used in special courses and includes structured group work, speeches, peer questioning, assessment, and teacher summaries. Therefore, seminars differ not only in topic, but also in level of complexity, research orientation, and student responsibility. The lecture then compares two widespread seminar forms, the group form and the round table. According to the slide, the group form may sometimes produce isolated knowledge, weak cooperation, and passive participation. By contrast, the round table promotes cooperation, mutual assistance, proactive engagement, and the collective development of conclusions. This comparison is pedagogically important because it shows that the form of interaction influences the quality of intellectual participation. Consequently, a seminar becomes more effective when it reflects real professional communication rather than fragmented and disconnected student performance. This slide presents the seminar discussion as a dialogical format in which participants jointly address the most problematic issues of the course. Particularly important here is the use of role-based interaction. Roles such as presenter, opponent, reviewer, logician, psychologist, and expert give structure to participation and improve the quality of argumentation, critique, logical clarity, and interaction. Therefore, the seminar discussion is not merely a free exchange of opinions. It is a pedagogically organized dialogue in which roles support intellectual discipline and more balanced participation. The next slide outlines the typical stages of a seminar research session. Students are first organized into groups of 7 to 9, with a senior appointed in each group. The senior receives a list of problematic questions. This is followed by a general exchange of views, prepared speeches, subgroup selection of speakers, peer answers to questions, and finally, teacher summary and expert feedback. This sequence is methodologically valuable because it demonstrates how research-oriented seminar work can be carefully structured without losing its collaborative nature. In other words, the seminar research combines organization, student autonomy, peer interaction, and teacher expertise within one instructional design. This slide summarizes the main principles of effective seminar design. Seminars are most productive when they are prepared in advance, organized around joint activity and co-creation, and focused on collaborative problem solving. The teacher should curate topics, literature, and roles, guide the discussion with sensitivity to student typology, and conclude the session with synthesis and directions for further research. The slide also identifies three especially important components. The goal, which is the application of theory to discipline-specific problems, the approach, which includes roundtable discussion, role play, and structured research stages, and the teacher's role, which combines facilitation, assessment, role assignment, and final summarization. Accordingly, effective seminar work depends on deliberate pedagogical design rather than spontaneous exchange alone. The conclusion of the presentation states the central pedagogical value of seminars with notable clarity. Seminars are described as a fundamental form of training through which students transform theoretical knowledge into practical skills. They encourage active participation, independent research, critical thinking, and professional reflection. In addition, seminars foster communication, collaboration, and problem solving, while interactive formats such as roundtables and research seminars create a cooperative environment in which each student contributes to collective outcomes. Thus, the seminar is essential not only for academic mastery, but also for preparing students for self-education, creative work, and professional activity in modern higher education. Thank you for your attention. I hope this lecture has clarified the pedagogical purpose, structure, and varieties of seminars, and has shown why this form of training remains essential for the development of scientific thinking, academic communication, and professional readiness.